time, and she smells as good as she looks. I came around and asked, and she told me she wears something called leather verbena. She's the most beautiful lady I ever saw. Except for mom, of course.
We'll say she must be some special lady close to your mom.
Charles.
I'll let you learn. Do you like school today?
There's a real nice girl named Christy. She'll probably be my best friend.
Good. Anybody in particular you like, Dawn?
Someone in particular I don't like. That zippy yelly old Sarah. You know what she called us? Country girls.
Well, country girls is not bad about that.
There's the way she said it. Look at the country girls. Made me so mad I wanted to smack her good.
Just a minute. I don't hear you talk like that. We go to school to learn, not to fight.
Part of what you have to learn is how to get along with others. All right, I'll try.
Little lady, you're going to feel like we'll just try.
Remember, Mama, do unto others.
That's right. That means no name call. No fighting. And no chasing. Understood?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm taking you to the store where I'm buying some sleep.
Black people, it's all about the unity. Nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody.
We are in a state of emergency. Tragedies. Want to show about it? Like to hear? Here you go. Free your mind.
Black people, it's all about the unity. Nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody bring it down to fire and black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody like that. We make the praise. We bring it down to fire and reality.
If you're over 65, you've seen many things, but this year's COVID-19 virus has taken a toll. That's why calling to make sure your Medicare plan is updated for 2021 is so important. Everyone eligible for Medicare is encouraged to call for your free, no obligation 2021 Medicare benefits review.
Hi, I'm Joe London. Many of you may qualify to save money.
Peace and knowledge. I'm so Sista, and I just wanted to say thank you for all the people that help to the medical provider and it means so much to us that
If you're not sure if you're eligible, just call now for your free, no
possible
obligation Medicare benefits review.
And I'm here to say for all of you that helped and that donated your payments to the big places, we hope I can be doing that and say
Call
thank
the
you
number on your screen now for your free 2021 Medicare benefits review. Call 800-995-3132.
If something happened to you, how would your loved ones pay for your funeral, final expenses, and other debts?
Mom, thank God you'll be okay. I'm so relieved that you should know when my time comes, I have a final expense policy.
Is that the life insurance policy that pays for funeral expenses and other debts?
Yes, there's an immediate payout of up to $30,000. There's no medical exam, even if you have a pre-existing condition like I do. When I called, the quote was free and there was no pressure.
Call the toll-free number on your screen now.
Free your mind. You're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it. What you gonna be?
We want to make sure that we're not just working to be first, but we're working to be right. a lot of times there are situations when things are just happening so fast. It's always important to be fast, but we always want to be right.
Rates can never be increased, benefits can never be decreased, and coverage can never be canceled. There are no hidden fees, no medical exam required, and no waiting period. Your coverage starts immediately. Don't burden your loved ones with your funeral costs and other vital expenses.
I'm so glad you'll be taken care of.
Call the number on your screen now for same-day approval and find out how Select Advisor can help you. The call is absolutely free and there's no obligation. Call 800-674-2163. That's 800-674-2163.
Imagine a shirt that actually makes you feel better. Introducing Tommy Copper's shoulder-centered support shirt, their biggest breakthrough yet. Advanced engineering promotes healthy posture and relief for achy shoulders and back. Visit TommyCopper.com to see the entire line of wearable wellness compression. They have you covered from the head to toe.
I ordered this book, God is on Trial. I ordered this book from Amazon, and I must say I've read it. It's very well written, very thought-provoking. And so, sisters and brothers like Alberta Parrish, again, God is on Trial. It is a provocative, thought-provoking, very real and honest point of view regarding the gods of major religions or the Abrahamic religions, and why those of us who follow these belief systems should be asking the same kind of questions instead of just blindly accepting and following.
Everybody who is black and interested in black people, let us sit down and find out how we can get together in one direction against one enemy and accomplish this job overnight.
This is Dusty Basement Studios, and we approve of this message.
Hey, my brother, you know I had to call you and thank you personally again. I cannot describe to you how happy I was to meet you in person, Myron. That was just like amazing.
Come on then.
To bring out a perfect harmony, Terry Ellis becomes the first of the divas to offer the world her singular sound. And she does just that on Psychiatric.
In a state of emergency. Want to show you about it? Like to hear it? Here it goes. Because I keep it real like that. I keep it real.
Just keep me going.
In the name of our ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what we call the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the gatekeeper or the host of this program, known here on social media. Wherever you may find me, I am known as the Mate. And you snub 7, I am your soul brother, number one. Well, this particular topic that we've chosen in this spontaneous broadcast is, one would assume, is unorthodox or out of the usual routine that we find in our this blackity black, I don't know what you want to call it, this genre that we find ourselves on social media. When it comes to the African American soul brothers and sisters, Black American, we have so many names. What you would find, I guess you would say in our vernacular, the only thing we like to talk about is religion. We love religion. We talk about religion and spirituality all day, back and forth, debating. We love that. Religion. I'm spiritual. That's what we do 24 hours a day. Let's talk about sex. We like that. We like talking about sex and pornography, sucking penises and licking vaginas. We love those type of things. That's what you find in the Black YouTube community. We love to beef with one another, back and forth, round and round. We love that. That's what you will see. We love the reality show. What is young Pharaoh doing today? What did Sinetta talk about today? Let's make mockery of Hassan Campbell this week. And of course, another one of our favorite topics is dating. What Black men don't do, what Black women don't do, what Black children don't do, what the Black dog don't do. All these nonsensical, that really mean nothing topics that really don't amount to nothing. It means nothing. You feel good talking about Jesus. You feel good talking about your big old penis. You feel good because I put Hassan Campbell in his place. You feel good. And that's all it is. Your condition does not change. It does nothing to help us as human beings. It does nothing to help us as a people. The only thing it does is keep us on a hamster wheel, like a dog chasing its tail, round and round, going nowhere. And that's where we find ourselves, going nowhere. I'm going to talk about Angel Snub 7 today, because that nigga talking a whole bunch of nonsense, round and round the hamster wheel. Where it stops, nobody knows. That's that wheel in gambling. You spin it, round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. You're willing to gamble with your life. You're willing to gamble with your future. So you bet on red and the little ball falls on black. You're willing to gamble. So this topic that we've chosen is most unusual for us. Why should we care or have any concern with the reality or the fallacy that the human being has overpopulated the earth? Why should we care? The earth is a real big ball. We could never. It would take generations and generations to overpopulate the earth. So we think. And this is also part of the Mississippi campaign. We don't really understand what the Mississippi campaign is about. Now, for those of you who think that you can get on a ship and go somewhere else, then there's no concern for you. Those of you who die and you're going to go into Dimension X and astral project and all these other different dimensions and galaxies, this is no concern for you. And I see why you have no concern, for the only thing that you know is the earth. The only thing that you know is flesh and blood. This is what you know. But you don't care because your mind is filled up with all this other stuff. Who cares? I don't need it. It reminds me of people who rent. Wherever my mother rented, she took good care of that place. My mother, wherever we rented, apartment or a house, wherever we find ourselves in, my mother took care of that property like it was hers. Unfortunately, you have those, because I don't own this, I would treat this property any kind of way I want. And they leave dirt everywhere, dog feces, cat hair, all kinds of crap. It ain't mine. I don't care. And this is how we look at the earth. And this is the sick mindset that religion and spirituality has caused us. And some of these black scholarship teachings, since I'm going to go to planet X or just my flesh die, I don't give a damn about the planet because I'm a renter. And I'm going to pollute and I'm going to destroy because that ain't mine anyway. This is what we want to talk about in these few minutes. I want to dedicate this broadcast to children. Regardless of their race, I don't care. Right. I want to dedicate this broadcast to children, to the young activists who have a concern for the earth, who have a concern for people, who have a concern for the human being, who have a concern for life, who have a concern for justice, who have a concern for freedom. I want to dedicate this broadcast to the young activists, the children. Now, some of us, like myself, when I was a child, I was influenced by the Nation of Islam. I had no adult support system. No adults supported my activism. So I would protest. By myself at 8 years old, maybe a little bit younger. I was school age. I would protest against Jim Crow in the dirty South by myself. My father did not stand with me. My grandfather did not stand with me. My uncles, no cousins. By myself. I want to dedicate this broadcast to children who think outside of themselves, not being selfish, having a care. There's a young Caucasian girl, I forgot what her name was, and I heard so many pro-blackity black folks making mockery of her because she is speaking out against global warming. What was you doing? I think she's 14 years old or less. What was you doing at 14 years old? What was you speaking out against? What was you standing up for? Now, some of you was raised in the Nation of Islam. Some of you was raised in organizations. And the only reason why you was doing something because you was raised in the organization. I'm talking about children who stand up and do things and ain't nobody push them to do nothing. They show concern for the animals. They have a concern for the environment. They have a concern for others. They volunteer their time and visit elderly people in nursing homes. When was the last time you visited the elders, even your own relatives, in the nursing home? What was you doing at 8 years old? You read all these books and have the information. You did a lot of reading and watching a lot of YouTube videos, but you have never at 8 years old, at 9 years old, at 10 or younger, you ain't did a damn thing. You don't qualify to come after me. Because when your ass was crawling on your all fours, licking up Similac milk off the damn floor, I was on the forefront fighting, so your happy ass, when you was born, you have something to fight with for. You're knowing you're not in, nobody is in a position to judge me. Don't tell me about your Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or your Marcus Garvey. What was they doing at 7, 8, 9 years old? What was Louis Farrakhan doing? By the time Louis Farrakhan was introduced to the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, he was in his 20s, running around with reefer joint in his hat. What was Marcus Garvey doing? I dedicate this broadcast to the children who stood up outside of themselves for some kind of cause. being selfish, understanding. And all these phonies that come after you. What was you doing at 7, 8, 9 years old? Playing with your toys, waiting for Santa Claus. Sneaking around trying to drink beer. Smoke weed. That's what you was doing. Playing. I was 8, 9 years old. I was a child. But I still had and learned and understood the world that I lived in, and I want to change it as a child. You go back and look at some of those civil rights films. There was children on the front line. Children filled the jails during the civil rights era. Children filled the jails and marched and supported Dr. King. What was you doing? And now you come on YouTube with your chest all poked out. You got the information and you all Hasidity like you are something. You ain't nothing. Who the hell are you? What was you doing at 7, 8, 9 years old? I'm very sure there are adults right now who could tell you they was part of the civil rights movement and they were 7, 8, 9 years old. What was his name? That congressman that just died not too Congressman Lewis. What was his name? I think his name was Lewis. Hell, he was 16, 17 years old. He's a coon. He's a Sambo. What the hell was you doing as a teenager? I've been standing up in the struggle since I was 8 years old. Till the present time. I have earned the right to talk about blackity black, Pan-African, whatever the hell you want to call it. I've earned the right. If you wasn't a child standing up for us, you're in no position to try to judge me. And if you was a child standing up, you wouldn't judge me. Self-righteous, pompous pieces of trash. I dedicate this broadcast to the children activists, regardless of your race, because it's a special person. You are a special child to be able to understand at such a young age that the world that you was born in is messed up. And at a young age, you want to try to change it. Giving up, sacrificing your childhood because you could be playing G.I. Joe, playing with your Black Panther doll, whatever. But instead, you want to protest. You want to take action to change the condition, not for your benefit, but for the benefit of other children that come after you. Oh, wow. You, to all the children activists, I dedicate this broadcast. Now, we don't want to take too long, but we want to go over some things here. We want to talk about human population of the earth, is it a reality or is it a myth? Well, now when you come from this blackity black scholarship mindset, this black supremacy mindset stuff, you don't see them have any love for the earth. When you hear Pan-Africans and pro-black folks talk about the earth, the only thing you hear them talk about is the resources. I want the gold. I want the silver. I want the diamonds. I want the oil. The resources. That's all you hear them talk about. The resources. You never hear them talk about how we need to care for this planet. This planet is just something for them to use and rape, just like everybody else. Rapists. Now look, they also say, and I made an earlier video, or I re-uploaded an earlier video where there is this delusion that black people own the earth. How is that possible? Who gave you the damn title? How do you own the earth? This is our planet. This is our universe. Since when? More nonsense talk. And if you own the earth, you're doing a shitty job taking care of it. Since you own the earth. How do somebody own the earth? Now, I'm very sure if there was somebody who had enough money, they would go from country to country and buy up all the land and whatever. I own the earth. I don't know where y'all going, but y'all got to get the hell off my planet. I bought Mexico. I bought the United States. I bought China. I bought Africa. I own the earth. So if somebody can buy, so that means if somebody can own the earth like that, where we gonna go? Get off my planet. Nobody can own the earth. When you dead and gone, the earth's still gonna be here. When you came, the earth was here. The only thing you can do for the earth is you can rent your little spot. That's the only thing that you can do. You can't own nothing. Your ownership is only as good as you can protect and defend the little plot of land that you call your own. Because as soon as somebody kick your ass, you don't own it no more. Just like your car. Oh, this is my car. I own this car. I got the title. I pay insurance. And then somebody, get out the car. Get out the car now with a gun. They carjack you. Now they own your car until you are able to call the police or whatever you need to do to get your car back. They own your car. We don't even own our lives. Any sucker can walk up to you or me I don't like you, Snuppy. Pow, pow, pow. I don't like you, Deacons. Pow, pow, pow. We don't even own our lives. Any piece of trash can kill you. So how the hell can you own the earth? It makes no sense. The black people own the earth. Black people didn't even come into existence until about 500 years ago. There was no black people. The concept of black did not even appear, only been in existence within the last 500, 800 years or whatever. So how could the black people own the earth when black people didn't even exist? And even if that was true, you don't have nothing to do with it. This American Negro, you ain't never owned no earth. You was owned. You didn't own no earth. You was owned on a plantation. You was property on the earth. All this silly teaching, all this silly beliefs, all this dumbass stuff. We don't do that here. It's over. Your scriptures say, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I'm an adult now. And I put away childish things. All that feel-good garbage. You own the earth. Anytime these Peckerwoods want, if they want to start right now today, they round your happy ass up and blow your brains out and throw all of us in mass graves. There's nothing that you can do. And now, not only do your claim that you own the earth is false, now you become part of the earth. Dumb stuff. I cannot do it no more. I don't give a damn how angry you get. I don't care how you upset and whatever. I cannot do this. I can't do that no more. I can't do it. The pro-blacks say a lot of them believe in overpopulation of the earth. Okay. A lot of them do. But the white man is in the way. And the Chinese and a lot of other folks. The earth only belongs to black people. Whoever the hell that is. Which black people only come into existence within the last 800 years. There was no people on this planet called black. Black is part of a European racist construct. There was no black people 666 trillion years ago. And even if it was, it's not you. Even your skin tone show that you're not a black man. You're too damn light. You brown. You're high yellow. You ain't nowhere near the black man. So it couldn't be you. Can't be talking about you. You're not a black man. You brown, high yellow, whatever. And some of y'all just look outright weird. You call yourself black, but you look weird. What African you look like? I always ask these people, what African you supposed to be? What you look like? I'm not making mockery. Some of us talking all this crap African stuff, some of us look weird. We don't look like an Aboriginal. We don't look like no African. We look weird. Some kind of mix of something. Because that's what we are. That's what we are. So the pro-blacks say, I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to kill everybody. Kill the Chinese, kill whoever, blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, there are other people on the planet when it comes to skin color, like in India, just as dark as Africans are. Why aren't they considered black people? I saw a man in a store, and he was from Pakistan somewhere in India. This man was way darker than me, way darker than our sister Rashida. This man was dark, and you could tell he wasn't no kind of African type person. See, these teachers and this scholarship, this race garbage got us all messed up in the head. And there's another thing that they don't talk about all the time. But when it comes to biology, all human beings basically are the same. It's only a small type percentage, less than 2%, that makes us different. Well, I was just getting ready to say, is that true or not? The Shining Wizard says exactly. We're going to say that again. Because I don't think you heard me. Terry, I don't think they heard me. We just ignore that human beings are all the same except 2% that makes us different. Less than 2%. We are caught up in all this race garbage. It's made you sick. You don't understand. It's made us sick. And instead of trying to destroy it, you want to go deeper and deeper into it. And then you wonder why our condition never changes. You're trying to be, and you're promoting something that puts you in the condition that you're in. Look, so our question is, overpopulation, is it a reality, a myth, or fallacy? Okay, now look, we're going to do this and we're going to get out of here. And you know it. Shining Wizard says, I tell black people all the time to get away from that pro-black bull. Absolutely. It served its purpose. We don't need it no more. I don't need to talk about black every day to have pride in myself, to love myself. I don't have to be reminded every day, oh, I'm black. It's not necessary. Which I'm not that anyway. I'm beyond skin color. The earth is 75% water, 25% land. Now I want us to think real quick. The earth is 75% water, 25% land. And we want to talk to people who say that the earth cannot be overpopulated with human beings. Okay, so since the earth, as big as it is, if it was a big landmass, what you're talking about is logical, but it's not. It's 75% water, 25% land. And then when you look at the land, a lot of the land is covered by ice. A lot of the land is covered by sand. So the human being, we don't even have access to all the land. It's 25% land, but we don't even have access to that. Now, I want to tell you something. Now, look. All of us, as living beings, we have to take a leak. We have to urinate, and we give off feces, right? Okay. Now, you urinate and have feces. Now, if there's plenty of room, that's not a problem. You cannot live around urine and feces. Urine and feces create diseases. So whether you are out in the country or you in the city, you have to find a way to get rid of your urine and your feces. The more people you have, the more urine and feces you're going to create. Now, if you have a reasonable population and you remove your urine and feces from among the people, nature can deal with and break down that your urine and your feces. It'll go into the soil, clean up, get the water out of your urine, and take the nutrients out of your feces. Everything is biodegradable. But if it's too much at one time, what happens is it creates a poison. The earth cannot deal with it, cannot handle it the way it normally would. And so since your urine and your feces cannot go through the biodegradable process like it should, then it goes into the earth and it's not properly processed, and it begins to poison the water table. It also sets up disease. And then you combine that with fossil fuels. You love your motorcycle, you love your car, you love to be Mr. Branson. He just went into space on a rocket ship. All these are fossil fuels. And you putting all this poison into the air. It also goes into the soil. And you love your computer, and you love your iPhone. We make electronic garbage. These are things they don't talk about on the television. These are things you don't talk about. I saw on TV, there's barges. There's barges and barges. You got Europe sending all their garbage to poor countries. And you have the poor people there rambling, trying to find what little scrap they can from the garbage dumps. It's so much garbage that the seagulls are actually thriving off the waste that human beings throw away. They don't even go out looking for food no more. They go to the garbage dumps. You're destroying the earth. The pro-black folks don't talk about that. They talking about adding to the destruction of the planet. This is all we got. This is all we know. And you talk about keep having babies and babies. More babies, more people mean more urine, more feces, more fossil fuels, more electronic garbage. How long you think this planet can take it? They throwing all this garbage out into the oceans. Do you know they are finding in the flesh of fish, seafood, little pieces of plastic is actually in the flesh of fish, seafood. They throw all this plastic and garbage out into the oceans, and then it breaks up into these microscopic pieces. It's still plastic, but it has not been broken down, and it gets into the systems of the fish. And if that's happening with them, we, the human being, we also are eating plastic. There's a new word among the young people, calling each other plastic. I see why, because that's what we're eating, a bunch of plastic. That plastic is getting into your vegetables. You're not safe. You're not safe being a vegetarian. You're not safe being an animal eater or eating fish. You're not safe. Plastic is everywhere. You don't hear the pro-black folks talk about this at all. What do all this pro-blackness mean if you're dead? All this stuff, what do all your pro-whiteness mean? What do your United States of America and your China, what do all this stuff that human beings do, what does it mean when all of you are dead? You can't live on plastic. You can't keep breathing in this poison air and drinking this filthy water full of plastic and other chemicals. COVID-19 is the least of your problems. But see, like I told a lot of younger people in earlier videos, you need to start looking out for yourself. Stop listening and caring about your elders. Your elders don't give a damn. Most of them would be dead within the next 20, 50 years. It's all on you. They don't care. Like George Washington and all those slave owners. They didn't care. Now you got to deal with the race problem that they started. Everything needs space. In order to grow properly, they need space. There's a story about goldfish. I don't know if some of you have seen it. It's a story about goldfish, and pet owners have thrown the goldfish out into these ponds and lakes, and now the goldfish are like 2 foot long, running around, big old goldfish. That's the way goldfish supposed to be. Goldfish are carp. Goldfish can grow to be 2 foot, 3 foot long. But when they are in an unnatural environment, like your fish tank, they stay sort of small. They're supposed to be big like that. But at the same time, those goldfish are not natural to that lake or that pond, and they're causing problems in the ecosystem. Like in Florida, you have all those anacondas running around now. Anacondas are not natural to Florida. And all a lot of these other animals. We are in a messed up situation. And it takes human beings, not a race. It's going to take human beings to clean this up if the human being want to move and progress. Because right now, you're living good and everything. Your iPhone, and you can go to the bathroom and take you a nice dump. All that's coming to an end. Because you don't have proper space. How many of you are gardeners? How many of you been on a farm? If you've been on a farm, if you are a gardener, you know that each of your seedlings need a certain amount of space in order to grow properly. Even among their own kind. If you're trying to grow corn, you have to separate those plants. They got to have their space so they can grow properly among their own kind. And if a plant that you don't like grows next to your corn, you call that a weed. That's a plant you don't like. Now, what makes it a weed? Because it's unwanted. It could be a tomato plant, but I'm trying to grow corn. So I'm going to have to throw that tomato plant out the way. You call it a weed, it's unwanted. Under the system of white supremacy and racism, other human beings are considered weeds. So, within black supremacy, the white man is a weed. The Chinese people are a weed. Anybody other than black is a weed. So what we gonna do with the weed? Well, we pluck them. But that's the same mindset that the white man have. The white people have the same mindset. You are a weed. We need to pluck you. So it's right for you to want to pluck somebody, but it's wrong for the white people or anybody else to pluck. You need to make up your mind. Because you're unwanted. So we are living in a situation where you have a lot of arrogant, racist, hateful, non-thinking people and they want to continue to rape the earth. How much you think this planet can take? When you give blood, you can only give a certain amount. If you give more blood than what your body needs, you're going to have a problem. You can't keep taking from the earth and you think there's not going to be a problem. You can't keep raping this planet. You can't keep doing what we're doing and you think everything is going to be all right. Now the earth can recover, but you can't. The human being, we was designed to live a certain way and operate a certain way. When you interrupt that environment, that condition, then we begin to die off. And that's probably, I'm not a prophet or anything, but I am expecting, as long as things go the way they're going, I am expecting the great die-off. And we see this in nature all the time. When there's too many of a certain animal or insect, you will see the great die-off. Because the environment cannot handle that amount of creatures, animals. So they starve and they die off. Everything that happens has a reason. Some of you may live in areas and you see a lot of dead birds. The birds just didn't die for the hell of it. Something caused them to die. Some of us live in areas, you see a lot of dead frogs or a lot of dead turtles. Something caused them to die. We are so arrogant as human beings, we can't die. But that's where you headed for. So you need to enjoy, since the flesh dies, I hope you enjoy your other life because you're not going to live here. All this black power stuff, all this white power stuff, all this, I'm trying to be generational wealth and I'm trying to get everything. All that don't mean nothing when you're dead. You're on your way to death. The black people might die first. The Chinese folks might die next. Hell, the white people might die first. Guess what? All of you are going to die because you all have the same mindset and mentality that causes death. If you take care of the earth will take care of you. When you murder the earth, you poison the earth, when you try to kill this planet, it's going to show you who's the boss. I'm going to kill you before you get me. I was here before your happy ass got here, and I will be here when you leave. And when all the human beings die, all the grass will start coming back, the air will start to purify itself, all the lakes and rivers will go back to the way they were before human beings, and the deer and the antelope and the bear and the raccoon, all of it will go back to the way it was. Good riddance to bad rubbish. The native people and the so-called primitive people understood that. And that's why they have been around and lived the way they were living for thousands, if not millions of years. This way of life that we live, the computers and the cars and the iPhone and the washing machines and the television, it's convenient, it's an unnatural lifestyle. That's why most of us have got fat. We're fat, we're overweight, all kinds of diseases because of this modern way of life. It's unnatural. You shouldn't have to go out and exercise every damn day. You shouldn't have to be on those special diets. But due to commercialization, due to industrialization, it's created this artificial, unnatural lifestyle that creates unnatural problems like cancer and diabetes and all these other different ailments. And this is not to say these things do not appear in nature, but on the scale that we find, it's unnatural. They did an experiment with rats. They put the rats in this environment and gave these rats plenty of space. Everything was fine. Then they brought in more rats and took away some of the food and the water. And all hell broke out. That's what you are seeing right now in human beings, because there's too many people on the planet. Everybody too packed up, and you don't have the resources to take care of all these human beings. Human beings offer nothing to nature. The only thing human beings do is take. Take, take, take. You offer nothing. How long you think this is going to last? It's got to come to a head. So as part of the Mississippi campaign, we have to think about the future. We have to think about turning this around. What's the sense of having a Mississippi campaign? What's the sense of having a future independent nation when you're going to die? There is no future. What's the sense of taking control of Mississippi when all your air is poison and your water is poison and we eating plastic? So what? Finally, we got free. Finally, we are independent. Just so we can die. You will not hear what we're talking about when you go to all this other blackity black stuff, because their minds are sick and they only think about the now. When you are a leader, when you have vision, you have to look at things in the future. You have to look at the now. If we are going to keep eating plastic, breathing in filthy air, drinking foul water, what sense do it make to have a Mississippi campaign? Just wait on our time to die. Trying to take control of a state is a waste of time. Because by the time you finally get yourself together, you're going to be dead. All your hard work went down the tubes. So you might as well enjoy your iPhone and your computer, your YouTube, and your car, and your motorcycle, and your spaceship going to the moon or whatever. Enjoy it while it lasts, because you're going to be dead. This planet cannot take all this. I'm going to say this in conclusion. There's a point of no return. When you are in a car and you get into a skid, you might be able to save yourself as long as you don't get to the point of no return. You can straighten up, do something, straighten yourself up, and get out of the skid. But once you get into the point of no return, that's it. It's an accident. You might die. You might get seriously hurt. The point of no return. There might be an opportunity right now to change direction. White people, the Chinese, human beings all over the earth, we have to change our mindset. This mindset that we have, we are greedy, we are selfish, we're arrogant, we only think about ourselves. It's not going to work. If we don't work together as human beings, we're done. And you can believe in all that pro-black stuff, and we're going to own the earth, and white folks think that way, and other folks keep thinking that way. You're going to own the earth, all right, when you go back into the earth, never to be seen again. And maybe that's a good thing. The human being, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the worst life forms that have ever appeared on this planet. No animal is as destructive as the human being. No disease, even COVID, has not killed as many people as human beings. You can put all the diseases together. Human beings is the worst disease. No earthquake have killed and destroyed. No forest fire. Human beings, human destruction. Human beings, the worst life form that have ever appeared on this planet. And you kill not only yourself, you kill the bees, you kill the fleas, you kill the bears, you kill the trees. You are a murderer. Don't call the white man the devil. The human being is the devil. Wicked and cruel. Because you all do the same thing. It's him. You remind me of little children. It's the white man. It's the Chinese. No, it's all of you. All of you think the same kind of crazy ass way. It's all. We're going to put that up. We're going to put that up. It's all of you. All. Listen to them. They all think the same way. Mother Africa. The whole planet is our mother, not just Africa. All of you are sick. All. You drive a car, you're participating. Playing on a computer, iPhone, throwing out all this electronic gadgets, plastic bottles. All. And you don't care about the future generation. There will be no future generation. This is all we got. If you can go to these other planets and dimensions, feel free. I don't know nothing about it. I do know this is all I know. This is all I got. And I understand if it continues at the rate that it's going, there is no future for the human being. And maybe that's a good thing. And the bear will laugh at you. And the ants will laugh at you. And the flea and the ticks will laugh at you. Damn, y'all remember when human beings was here? All them stupid ass pro-blacks and white racists and all. They killed themselves. The most intelligent life form on the planet destroyed themselves. Self-destruction. How embarrassing. Self-extinction. How embarrassing. The most intelligent life form ever. and you cause your own self to go extinct because you stupid. Wow. Well, on that note, let me get out of here. I don't know why it was something that inspired me to want to talk on this topic. I forgot exactly what it was, but I did want to give a shout out, and I did want to give honor to all those young activists. 7, 8 teenagers. I dedicate this broadcast to all of you. Shout out to the Deacons of Reality, always in the house, and those in the chat room, and those who are listening, and those who will be listening to this broadcast later on. I really appreciate. I know that there are those who don't like what I say. That's a personal problem. We are going to keep it real here to the best of our ability. No more living in la la land. No more this false reality that we live in. You have allowed this racist mind to make you really, really sick. And all of you fighting for a little piece of this and a little piece of that. And all of you going to end up with nothing. You're going to end up with nothing. Exactly. So on that note, thank you for listening. Jot down your comments, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. I'm Angel Snubbed 7. Until next time, as our ancestor, the late and great Don Cornelius, used to always say, as in parting, I wish us love, peace, and soul. We are the 5,000.